So today, we discuss about agile methodology. Okay, so far we were, talking about waterfall methodology, and the reason why, why you need agile, because the first and foremost reason is when cost is more important than quality, right? If you let's say 6 months project. It's a 6 months project, and you want to make that whole 6 month project into 1-2 months, and you want to move the project, then you want to move to the agile. The waterfall is really not possible. 6 month project will take more time to complete it. 6 month project sometimes goes to a year or more than a year, 2 years, 3 years, for because of the issues, requirements, and it's really a little bit slow. But in agile, it's not the case here. 6 month project, you just go into 1 month, it's done, that's it. Okay, the way you move is pretty fast, and you need to be very fast here. You cannot delay anymore. If you have issues, you have to, follow up with the developer, fix that issue as quickly as on that day, that's it. If you are prolonging that, it would be, really, it gets delayed, and, everything comes back to you. Okay, so you cannot prolong much longer because the builds are fast. In agile, builds are like, every 2 hours or every 3 hours they put one build. Okay, it's like start from 9 a.m. So the build start, one is 10, the other is 1 p.m. The other is 3 p.m. The other is 5 p.m. and stuff like that. So builds are pretty fast there, and so whenever developer checks in the code, it's like, okay, checked on 10 p.m. that goes, 10 a.m. So that goes into 1 p.m. build. So 1 p.m. your code is there, put into the test environment, and then you start testing by 2 p.m. It's that fast, okay? So you can no more expect the delay 1 week for every issue. It's opened an issue, it's going on from 1 week. It's no longer the case here. Okay, you cannot delay any project 1 week. 1 week, the project is done. Okay, so that's the reason, okay, you want to move in agile, because things are pretty quick, okay? So you don't want to delay much more, and it should be pretty fast. You cannot expect, any delay from anyone, any point of view. If it's a delay, you need to coordinate and work with the project manager. Okay, this guy will be, helpful to testing point of view. Okay, see, developers, you may not always accept a positive response, right, from developer. Okay, I agree that they don't, they don't have time basically. Okay, they work on a lot of things, so they may not really, concentrate on your bugs. But then you need to reach out to Scrum Master, that's called project manager. Okay, that's how things work in agile. Okay, so that was the little introduction on agile. Let's go back here. So let's understand the terminologies what we use in agile. Okay, in agile, there are first we'll talk about these roles and responsibilities. Okay, so there is product owner here. In waterfall methodology we call business analyst. Here we call product owner. The same guy, different terminology is different. Okay, the same guy, business analyst. Here we call product owner in agile. Okay. Responsibilities are different. Here you see this, there are responsibilities, need a lot of coordination work, okay, a lot of coordination, and need to work with a lot of people, with the developer, tester, and make sure that they get proper requirements and proper backlog items, and document it. And most important, sometimes in this case they're trying to remove the documentation, but it's really not possible to remove all the documents, but still you need to make sure the project is moving. Okay, so that's a job of a product owner. Here is responsibilities, few of the responsibilities. Okay, you can go through this. This is normally job of a product owner. That's business analyst. Okay. Now here you have you have development team. Okay, this development team is pretty broad, broad term, because this development team can have depending upon the requirement, like let's say a Java developer, you have web developer, you have an HTML developer, and so on. Now let's say if you have an ETL ETL developer, you need to work out with the ETL developer. You don't have ETL guy or ETL developer in your team, then you need to reach out to another team, request for help from them, and it's supposed to help you out on the project, because since it was designed by that ETL guy and not by Java or HTML guy. Okay, so that's a development team. So now it's not necessary that all the developer will be in your team. Sometimes it will be other team. You need to really coordinate. And in Agile, it's a little bit flexible. But you need to check with your managers and respective owners to understand how the flexibility is. You cannot just directly contact anyone and out of the team, and you cannot do that. You need to first contact with your respective first lead. Check with the lead. How does that work? And if lead is not able to respond, then the manager is supposed to help you out. It's another team, and how we going to coordinate it, and those supposed to be from your boss side. So yeah, so that's the development team. And you see here, there's no testings here. There's no testers. You see this, but you cannot eliminate testers completely in Agile. No matter what you're doing, you cannot eliminate testers. You know what? And here's the thing. Now, your boss will say you this, okay? Your boss will say you, no, we don't require any testers in Agile, okay? You can go home, okay? They might say you outright, okay? They'll say you, no, we don't require any testers because development are doing the testing. Okay, so your boss might say you directly that, okay? No, we don't require. Now that's not really possible. Now you need to explain, because see, managers are really not that technical. If you understand that managers are not really technical, the only technical guy is you. You are doing the job, and you are QA, you are analyst, you are developer, whatever you are. You are not manager. Manager only thinks perspective and management. Okay, they only want to remove people because they want to schedule more budget into that, and they want to see the budget and all those things, but they're really not into technical point of view. But the technical point of view will be you guys. Okay, so that's what you need to make a boss understand, saying that testers cannot be eliminated at any point of time. The reason, because if development are going to do the testing, they are doing in a business perspective. Okay, they are not really looking on to the what's the customer point of view. So now the testers looks based on customer point of view. You really understand the difference. Now developer, if you find some issues in front end or something else, developer won't find that in any given point of time. Developer will never able to find out that issues. Why? Because really it's not his job. His job is to look into the code and see that code is good, and even if it does testing, it does testing on the code perspective, that is business, the way the business is going, that's what they do. But testers are really the customer point of view. So you cannot expect to remove all the testers, because the company, if you remove the testers, it's lost to the company, because company will be, for example, I told you in an example, right? Let's take an example why we really require testers here. So we saw this, right? In stock it is 23, and this is accepting more than 23, and it goes to shipping, and customers get billed for 100 products, and at the end of the day customers only get 23. Now there's really a lot of backlash goes on, and doesn't get customer, so that's kind of thing, right? Cannot be able to identify vendor. So that's the reason you need testers here. Okay, so that's the importance of testers. And if your boss says this, you need to make them understand, saying that you cannot really completely remove testers, and the reason being, developer always test, even if the developer does the testing, always does on the business point of view. Okay, and the testers test based on customer point of view, user point of view, how the user is this, how user, it should be user friendly, right? The developer doesn't take care of user friendliness, right? They only take the code friendliness. Is the code good? Yeah, it's good. And doesn't know what the code is doing, how the code performs at the end. Nobody knows. So that's the reason you need a testers really. Okay, and then let's go to the next one. The Scrum Master. So Scrum Master is project manager. Project manager in waterfall methodology is called Scrum Master in Agile. Okay, project manager in waterfall is called Scrum Master in Agile. Okay, the same guy, different responsibilities. Okay, these are the responsibilities of a Scrum Master. Okay, and see, here's the thing. You need to be very careful. Although you are not doing the job of a Scrum Master, you are doing the QA. That is, these responsibilities are really not used by you. But thing is, you need to know this, okay? Because here's the thing. Now your boss will say, okay, let's say you open a defect, right? Let's say you opened a defect, and you have submitted that defect to the developer, and defect is open, okay? And so what happened, right? In my case, it happened the same thing. I opened the defect and I went to the developer. He said, no, I'm really busy, I can't look at your defect. Okay, that's fine. I'll come back tomorrow. And tomorrow he said the same thing. No, I'm really busy. You know what? We have production issues and we cannot work on your issue. Okay, that's fine. I went to the third day, this is the same thing is going on. And you know what? No, this is really not the way, because you know what, I have my own issues, I have my priorities, I have to complete my my work in time, and this is not happening. And I would like to go with the Scrum Master saying that, hey, you know what, I opened this defect 1 week back, and yeah, I understand developer is busy, yeah, he said he has some production issues and they're working on production issues, but this is also an issue, and this should be taken care because it's 2 weeks. Our code will be going into production, so I don't want any issues there. So I've opened a defect, and I reach out to Scrum Master. Why I reached out to Scrum Master? Because obviously developer is not responding. There are no. So now my boss got very angry with me. Okay, why did you reach out to? Why did you get the defect to the Scrum Master? Why not to developer? Okay. So then I told, my boss, saying that, based on my experience, Scrum Master is a bridge between the developer and tester. Okay. Now, because if the thing which is not solved by the developer, you need to reach out to, a Scrum Master. Okay. So the next question will be, so obviously, my boss didn't say anything after that, because, of course, it's true. Because here you see this. Here you see this here, helping the Scrum team to avoid and remove impediments to its progress, whether internal testing, is the responsibility of a Scrum Master. Okay, so if you come across such situation with your open defects and developer doesn't care, that's fine. You don't have to do anything. Not just follow up, try to follow up 2 to 3 times. So, of course, they might have right to reject. Then you need to reach out to Scrum Master, and they have to coordinate between them. The reason why, and if your boss says, why did you say, give them the link, give them the link, or maybe not this, if any certified Scrum Master is there, they're supposed to know this, okay? So they're not supposed to even question this, right? Why did you give a defect to the Scrum Master? It's not even questioned, but of course, your boss doesn't know much technical information, because they're more into management perspective. So in that case, you need to tell them this is the responsibility of a Scrum Master. So also go through these responsibilities. It might help you. Okay, and make sure if your boss asks some kind of questions, you need to be prepared. So so that all these things. Okay, if you are stuck somewhere, you need. Of course, you need to reach out to help to someone. Somebody will be helping you out, okay? And they might question you. So, no, this is not the way. Then you need to, reach out to have some answers for your statements, okay? So that's the job of a Scrum Master. And then let's go to the next one. Let's go to terminologies, different terminologies here. Okay, artifacts. Let's go to artifacts. So there is called product backlog. Okay. So far we are talking about roles and responsibilities, developer team, scrum master, okay, and the product owner. Now we'll talk about these artifacts that is part in the agile. The product backlog. Okay, what is exactly is this product backlog? So it says like it's a list of requirement. Okay. Now, I would say this is a very high level requirement, and this high level requirement can consist of one line statement in an Excel sheet. Okay. For example, if I have to give a product backlog for GMO online project, I would say GMO online project. That's it. Now you don't have any technical information. What is the web page? How many developers you require? What is the Java installed in that? What are certifications in that? A lot of things is never mentioned in that, and you never know. So that's called product backlog. Okay, so it's a very high level statement, and it's really not technical perspective to understand what to do for your testing or development. Even developer doesn't know. It's just a one-line statement. Even if they have to know, they have to have a long session with the product owner to understand what the backlog is all about. Okay, so that's the high level. Again, it's a list of requirements. Okay, it's just a requirements, and it could be. Let's see here. If you see here. Okay, so you see this product backlog. So this is a bunch of blocks. So that's called product backlog. Okay, it just it's very high level, and there is no technical information really to understand what's going on and how to start your testing or how to start development. So it doesn't have any information, no technical information actually. Okay, now let's go to the next one. Sprint backlog. So sprint backlog is actually it's a let's go one step back here. Before backlog, we'll talk about sprint. Sprint is a time-boxed unit for like 1 month. Let's say 1 month. So for ease of convenience, I'm saying is 1 month. It don't have to be 1 month. Sometimes 2 weeks or 1 week. Okay, based on the project, however the project is. Okay, so that's sprint. Sprint is a time-boxed unit. For example, let's say 1 month. Okay, so that's called sprint. And sprint backlog, whatever the work is there to whatever the backlog items, whatever the user story is there to work on is called sprint backlog. Okay, so that means let's say there are sprint 1, sprint 2, sprint 3, sprint 4, and each sprint is goes in each month. So in each month, how much work is to be completed is called sprint backlog. Okay, so that's a sprint backlog. Yeah, it's just normally the task, whatever the task is consistent. Let's say these stories, you see these user stories here. We talk about this, but here you see this user stories here. The white color notes, not the sticky notes, blue thing. The complete color on the left side of the stories. This. Let me animate if you see here. So, oops. So these kind of things. So these are stories. Okay, so these are the stories. Okay, so this is called user stories. So you already know user stories. So we are worked in Rally, so that's called user story. The same thing here. This is a traditional way of showing it, but we know more traditional. Okay, so these are called user stories. Okay. Back. So once all those user stories, you do it in one sprint, is called sprint backlog. Okay, all the user stories are completed, we call it sprint backlog. Okay, next we will go to on this charts. Okay, so there's a lot of charts here. We also talked about chart. Okay, the sprint burn down chart. Okay, this is how its sprint burn down chart is. And this is plotted automatically in Rally. There is no more, you don't have to use some special machines or calculate some things. Everything is done for you. Let's look into this Rally once again. guys who were missed my class before, can if you see here, go ahead and click on reports. Once you click on the reports, you have a lot of options here. Iteration burn down, iteration burn up, a lot of things. And once you get into it, let's say burn down chart of here in this case it's defects by priority, and this is how you get this chart. So all these charts are automatically designed in Rally. You no more using, you use tools. You no more is, you don't use manual anymore. Okay. Previously, they used to use manual, but everything is designed for you in this tool. This is a Rally where test management tool where you can design your own charts. Okay, so that's called this. As you know, this is not just one chart. You have plenty of charts here. Okay, you can go through it. Look into the Rally. You have a lot of charts here. Not just one. Throughput. You have defects by priority, defects by state. Top files by defects and burn up chart, burn down chart, so on and so forth. If there is no chart, you can create by own yourself. Add new and create your own customized chart. So that's all about this chart. Just like release burn up chart. And let's say if this is burn down chart, right? This is plotted between the number of days. If you see this number of days, and the x-axis and y-axis is remaining hours. Okay, and the ideal effort is the green color. You see this green color, that's ideal burn down. That means how much user stories you have completed in that specified amount of time. That's called ideal burn down. Okay, and the remaining effort is, this is, problem is if you have some issues, this goes ups and downs. So that's why it's very ups and downs, because you keep getting issues. You need to coordinate with the team, fix that issues, stop any impediments and all those things. That's why it's never ideal. Okay, that's why it's ups and downs always. Okay, and this is a completed, how many, this user story was completed in 3 days, and this was in 5 days, and all the user stories was completed on 21st days. If there is any remaining user stories and it's and there's a lot of work from the development side, then that goes into next release, because obviously that was not able to complete in this specified amount of time because too much of effort and a lot of issues or some issues. Okay, it goes to the next sprint. So that's the chart, burn down chart, and product backlog, sprint backlog. So that's about sprint backlog and this in this charts. Okay. So now let's go to the next one. We have completed roles, then we have completed artifacts. What are the artifacts here? Then then there's one thing called impediments here. Okay, there's also that comes under artifacts. So this we have here. Okay, this is called impediments. Impediment is like what you call in defects in waterfall methodology. Here you call impediment. So that's really may not be a defect always. The impediment can be coordination issue. There can be bug. It can be anything which is stopping your work to do. Okay, so that's called impediment. Okay, impediment is something which is stopping your work, stopping your test cases. Because of that issue, you are not able to move forward. That's called impediment, and it has to be reported. Okay, so see here. Okay, so let's go to Next, let's talk about these meetings. Okay, a lot of meetings here. Okay, workflow. So workflow, how do you? So before that, right? We'll just go through this. Um, go through this. Actually, this is the agile process. Okay, this is the agile process. So this is kind of diagram for understanding the agile process. So first you have this product backlog. So again, product backlog is very high level requirement document, and it's non-technical. Non-technical in sense, as a developer, as a tester, you cannot do anything by reading that. You cannot just start an application or you can test an application by reading that, because it has no sets of information, no information regarding technical information. So that's the reason this is, that's how it's called product backlog. Okay, and let's say there are like 4 blocks. That means each block is divided into 4 sprints for ease of convenience. 4 sprint. That means 4 months. So each block 4 months. Next block 4 months. Next block. I mean, it don't have to be that way, but I'm just saying for ease of convenience, because here we have four sprints. Sprint backlog. Sprint 1, sprint 2, sprint 3, sprint 4. Okay, that means 4 months. So each block goes 4 months. And what is in sprint backlog contains, sprint, we know what is sprint. Sprint is time box, which is 30 days. Okay, and each in this 30 days you need to complete some of the user stories, just like you completed one user story, right? Remember, I gave one user story, so this is called user stories. Let's say GMO Online, that's one user story. Okay, like that you might have to complete 10 user stories, or 6-7 user stories in 30 days. Okay, so that's called completion. Once you complete, that means one sprint is completed. Okay, once it goes into now that goes into the product. Okay, that's the increment of the product. Let's say client required that priority of that work, so that goes as a priority, and you complete that user story first. All these are designed in a planning session. Okay, what user stories has to go in this release, what there has to be deferred, what has to be based on the priority level. Okay, but this is the agile, the whole process. Okay, this is the process of Scrum. Actually, to be specific, this is Scrum process. How the Scrum process works, and not only the Scrum, you are using any Kanban, your extreme programming, or whatever process you are using, the process is similar, if not same. The similar process goes, you have product backlog. You divide that chunk of work into different sectors, and you complete each and every sector, and then you give the product to the end client. Any questions in this? Okay, so that was about this. Now let's talk about this workflow. Okay. Now, when you are in Scrum, right, you will be going a lot of meetings. We will be having a lot of meetings here. Now, first, we'll start about sprint planning. Okay, so the sprint planning, what you discuss is a lot of, you'll be discussing about what are the user stories that has to go into this release, that this sprint, and what are we going to do. Let's say there will be also how much time is allocated for each and every user story. Okay, now here developer has advantage because they know what the technical information, and they know what the issue is, what the what they have to fix in it, or what they have to develop. So they know a lot of information here. So they might have so they will be talking more. Okay, so let's say now they will have some voting session kind of they'll say, okay, this is the story. How much time will it take? The developer says 5. Okay, that means 5 days. That includes 2 days for testing and 3 days for development. Okay, and they say 5. It's not just 5 for development. They say for completely. Okay, for even for testing. So 3 days for development. So they will take 3 days to develop and 2 days for testing. Okay, so now No, the Scrum Master will be saying, okay, no, we don't have time for this 5. We want to take this 3. Okay, so now there's a lot of discussions here. Okay, there's a lot of discussions going on because really it's not possible. So now, if there's a technical guy who let's say, if there is a technical guy like a manager, like developer manager. See, normally developer managers are technical, not always, but if they are technical, they are also invited in sprint planning. Okay. Normally they are not invited, but if there are any technical guy who is really, doing a lot of projects. They are working on 3 to 4 projects, and they know what's going on. So they, are invited in the sprint planning, and they'll say, no, we really need this 5 days because there's a lot of coordination, and there's a lot of Java work is there. There's a lot of objects and classes to be added, so it's almost 6 days, but we are squeezing into 5 days, so 5 days is a must. So then your Scrum Master will agree, okay, if there's a lot of work, then we'll take it 5 days. So that's how you need to argue, so this is more from developer point of view, but as a tester you also need to understand so what's going on and what's really need to be tested. Okay, so that's about the sprint planning session, and it takes like 3 to 4 hours, 3 to 5 hours. Yeah, it doesn't go more than 4 hours, but yeah, and they'll make sure that your lunch is used up in this meeting. We'll start by 10 a.m. and ends up by 3 p.m. or something. Okay, so that will be the sprint planning session, and this is for every sprint. Let's say every sprint, every month they have some time, second or first week or second week or something like that, and they always start the sprint planning in that time. Okay, every month, because sprint every month they have new sprints, so they have to start for every new sprint for every month. Okay, so this is what they discuss. Okay. The scope of work, what is there in the scope of work, and what are the product backlogs that has to be completed in this sprint, and of course the forecast, as I told you, forecast, that means how much time will it take, 5 days, no, it's not possible, then somebody has to argue on that, there's a lot of work there, there's a lot of coordination and all those things, so that's how, they do the work here, okay. So that's a sprint planning session. There's something called sprint grooming. Okay, that's not here. They might also go for sprint grooming if the specified amount of time is not sufficient to complete with the sprint planning. A lot of user stories, okay, that has to go in this release. So he's not able to complete in 3 to 4 hours. Then they will take one more session, sprint grooming session, and they will complete on that. Similar to sprint planning. Okay. So why do we need the sprint planning? So basically to organize all the user stories which has to go in this sprint. Sprint planning to organize all your user story which has to go into the sprint, and which user story is responsible, which QA guy. Okay, that is more important because who will be working on it. The ETL user story, ETL tester will be there. The QA user story, QA tester will be there, and so on. Okay, so they have to organize all those things, and that's the reason you have the sprint planning session. Then let's go to the next one. This is daily Scrum meeting. Okay, in this daily Scrum meeting, what you do is, this is the stand-up meeting. This is called, and this lasts for 15 to 20 minutes. That's it. Every day. Okay, every day, irrespective of whatever sprint you're working on. This is completely. So this is like there are 4 important things what you do in sprint. Daily Scrum meeting. Okay, what have you done yesterday? What are you going to do today? What are you going to do tomorrow? And what are the impediments that stopping you to do the work? The 4 important things. Okay, this is what they have to discuss in daily Scrum. What have you done yesterday? What are you going to do today? What are you going to do tomorrow? and what are the impediments that is stopping to you to do the work. Okay, that's what daily scrum is all about. And they start by 9 and starts to complete by 9 a.m. 9 a.m. to 9:15 to 9:20 p.m. Sorry, 9:20 a.m. 15 to 20 minutes. That's it. You are not going more than that. Okay, if you are doing this scrum, if daily scrum lasts for 1 hour or something, then you are doing something wrong, because it's not, and the team people are really, small. The more smaller people, the smaller team, the better the results are. Okay, you don't want like 10 to 20 people in one team. 5 to 6 people, 3 developers, 1 testers, 1 scrum master. That's good. That's how the project should be. Let's see here. Let's take an example here. You see this? This is kind of daily scrum. This is called stand-up meeting because everyone is standing. So here normally they have to look at the user stories. Here there is no user stories. Everyone maybe it's, they are into the system, or they are not. They didn't put any something as a user story. But yeah, this is how it goes. Okay, there's a scrum master who organizes this. All these meetings are organized by the scrum master. Okay, scrum master, they talk about this issue. Okay, what are you going to do today? What are you going to do tomorrow? And what are the any impediments that are remaining to that's stopping you to do the work. This is an example for daily scrum. Okay, next we have sprint review and retrospective meeting. Okay, so these are what we are talking about. This is a meeting. Okay, so and this meeting will be the end of your sprint. Let's say you have come to an end. Normally this is kind of when you start a next sprint, you come up with this previous sprint. Okay. It's a sprint review and retrospective. Normally it should be end by it's actually so what we discuss here, right? What so what we discuss in this is what went good, what didn't go good, and how can we improve that didn't go good. Okay, 3 important things. What went good? Okay, if it is good in that sprint, then we'll continue that. And what didn't go well? Okay, so that means some issues and they took too much time, we wasted too much time on that, we didn't perform it efficiently. So how can we improve on that? Okay, that is the one. And how for the next sprint, how can we implement that one? So that is about sprint review and retrospective. Okay, and this is organized by the Scrum Master again. All these meetings, all these Scrum meeting, daily Scrum, sprint planning is organized by Scrum Master. Okay, and they have to organize it, and they have to discuss on this. And sometimes each and individual feedback, they take individual feedback. Okay, what is your perspective? How it should be the how the sprint should be. Okay, so. Yeah, here we go. So what went well in the sprint and how could we improve which didn't go good into the sprint. Okay. So normally it's 1 hour, 1 hour, and we'll see if we can have any better better way of doing this work. So from the next sprint we'll be using that one. So that's about sprint review and retrospective. Okay. Because it's a continuous improvement program, right? They have to continuously improve it. So if there's something not good, it didn't go well, they have to keep on improving it. That's about this agile. Okay, so that's how the agile works. They have to keep on improving, because it's really not stable. Agile is really not stable. A lot of things, okay, a lot of things goes on, and a lot of things will be happening. So that's the reason you need this. Okay, sprint review and retrospective. Okay, so 3 important meetings: sprint planning, daily scrum, and sprint review and retrospective. Okay, this And sprint planning will be start of the sprint, and daily scrum will be every day, irrespective of any sprint. And the sprint review and retrospective is the end of the sprint. Okay. Any questions so far? Okay. So next we'll go. Let's see here. So there was. So traditionally, how we were doing was this way, you know. So let's say this is now this is a board. Okay, this is a board for your um, okay. So once you're in the sprint, right? So this is what it contains. Let's see here. So this is stories. Okay, so these are this column is called stories. Okay, and this column is to do. Okay, and how much work is remaining. And this column shows. Oops, and this column shows how we are progressing. What is your progress. The sticky note should move from one after another. You see the sticky notes. You see that this is a sticky note. This is a blue color sticky. This is a yellow color. Okay, this color depends really based on how we are doing. Sometimes they use for developers, sometimes for the testers, so on. Okay, and after doing that, what is the testing? And this is completion. Did we complete that user story completely? Okay, so this is for four columns where where you will be using it. So let's see here. Okay, so this is the white color. You see, this is a user story. So these are many. Okay, and they should not be it should not go more than 10 user stories per. It actually really depends on how the way is organized, the way it is the project is started. But for an agile should be not more than 10 user stories. Okay, but if you are going more than 10, then you really need to think of it, because you'll be running into lot of people, and a lot of things will be happening. So there's a lot of people and a lot of things, then there's of course chance of getting missed. Some user stories get missed, and and if it is not get tested, then it will come back to you. Okay, so once you figure it out which user stories you are working on, then this is to do. Okay, this user stories to do. Now the first user story is picked by the developer, of course, because you cannot start testing before development is completed, right? So that's the first sticky note has to be moved by a developer. They will say, okay, so this is what I'm working on. It will take 2 days, and we'll complete this in 2 days. Okay. So once it's moved, then it moves. Then the developer moves this in progress, saying that okay, I have I have 1 day more remaining, and I'll complete this, and I'm in this progress, and by today coordination, I'll complete this. So this course moves into progress, and later once developer is completed, then you will be start testing on that. Okay, so then you have to pick your user story. Let's say this user story, and then you start testing. Once it's testing, you have again 2 days. In 2 days, how much testing you have done? What is the more testing remaining? 1 day. Okay, and once it's done, you could move this sticky note to here to this place and saying that completed. It's completed. Okay, so this is a traditional way of doing this. So as far we don't require this kind of thing, because if you see in the rally, what, this is all done for you. Okay, it's no more required that kind of thing. Let's see here, and what, let's go to the task. So what I was explaining you in that board is all you can do here itself. What, let's change its status. Here what you call here is status. Okay, you have state here is a defined, that means it's, it's in this to do state, and once you move into progress, it's in progress state, and once you put in C, that is completed, it's in completed state. Okay, you really don't require that, traditional way of, that's the traditional way of doing this. Let's say if you don't have Rally, if you're using HPLM, then you need to use those kind of board, because HPLM doesn't support this kind of, dynamic feature where you can show your progress, how you are moving, right? So that's the state you define here. This is only for the task and not for the test cases. Okay, test cases you need to complete. Once you complete it, you need to update this task. Okay, and here of course you can block this task. If you're blocking it, of course, obviously you need to have some really valid reason here why it's blocked, and hold that product is blocked, hold user storage blocked, and you need to really have good explanation, because your boss will be checking this and need to give why it's blocked. And if it's ready, you need to go ahead and click on this ready, and you need to update this. Once you complete it, let's say you have 10 hours remaining, right? And you have completed your test cases for 3 hours. And okay, so you have completed about 3 hours of test cases, and you need to update here. Okay, so that's like 10 hours. That is 10 minus 3, 7. So to do is 7. That means you have more 7 hours to do work. Okay, so this is how you can update here. This Rally is pretty good tool instead of using this board. So this board you will be no more using, because all you can do is this in your Rally. It's pretty good. So that's how you can use this. Any questions so far? So if you are using Agile, so always you should have something good tool like either Jira or Rally or TFS, Team Foundation Server. That's from Microsoft. Okay, you should have pretty good tools like that to if you are using in Agile. If you are using in Agile and you are using HPLM, then you are pretty much outdated, because in that case you need to use such kind of traditional way of putting that board. And if you want charts, the charts really not very helpful in HPLM. Of course you do have, but then you have to plot this big chart using this plotter. You have that plotter, big, not normal printer, not that laser printer or inkjet printer, but you need to have this plotter which plots a big chart. And this takes a lot of resources, a lot of time, because Scrum Master has to do follow up with other people, get this chart ready and put it, stick on these walls, because every time CFO or the guy who is responsible wants to check your work, or audit team or to see this, you have to put the whole chart onto the walls, and that's really a traditional way of doing this. But we really don't have to do it once you have this some tool like Rally, Jira, or TFS. These three tools are pretty good, and you cannot stick for HPLM forever if you're in Agile, because Agile it's really developing, and you need to really get rid of this obsolete tools. The reason, because of course not user friendly. Of course you can do it. Of course it's not like you cannot do it. But it's really not user friendly, and it really consumes a lot of time and labor. Okay, so you cannot do your work efficiently. Okay, so efficiently doing your work is important. Okay, so that's all about Agile. So let's quickly check. So this is about Scrum. What we discussed so far was Scrum. So as I told you, here you go. In Agile, you have a lot of things. Okay, so Scrum Okay, rapid application development. Okay, XP, extreme programming. Okay, we have team software. Okay, so these are dynamic system development. So these are all part of the agile. Okay, so if you're, somebody says I'm working in agile, you don't know just because there's a lot of things in agile. Okay, this Scrum, what we discuss here is a part, and this is more used based on the project because this is more semantical point of view. A lot of people are, have to come here. A lot of phone calls. Okay, so that's why it's called Scrum. Let's pretty quickly check Kanban. Kanban is simple. Let's see if it works here. Um, it's simple and Scrum because you don't have that many meetings, that many, and you can use Kanban in Rally too. Okay, it's just similar, just moving your project from here and there, but it's more dynamically than Rally. Let's see here pretty quick. So here, Kanban is good for TFS, that is Team Foundation Server. So once you found a Team Foundation server, you pick this one. So we'll discuss more about this Team Foundation server. Okay. I'm not able to give you access to TFS, but if anyone is interested, having this access, I can directly, create a whole different, for you, you can be a super administrator and you can work on that. So I can do that. If anyone is interested, let me know. Okay, so we can work on that, based on your email. Because the reason, because Microsoft is not doesn't allow multiple email IDs at the same and I mean different IP address actually. So that's a problem. Okay, so here we go. So this is, so we will talk about this more. We'll just have a look here. How does it looks like? And so this is project. And this is, okay, this is project. Let's go to dashboard. Let's go to the dashboard and see. This is the dashboard, and if you go to the, let's go to the backlog pretty quick here. So you see this board, click on this board, and here if you see this, okay, so here, um, here this is a board. Okay, so this board is similar to what you see here. Here you see this board, right? This is similar like here. You know what? Let's say this is a sticky note. If you want to move it here, let's say I drag this and put it here, just like that. And it has to move out there. So this is not working. Let's see here. So normally, when you have this, you can just drag it like a sticky notes and move this here. You see this? For some reason that didn't move. So here, a similar way, you can drag it. I can put it here. New status. Oh, because this is a user story. You cannot move user story. You have to move your task. Okay. So you know what? You can move. Supposed to move this. Okay, good. Okay, you can only move tasks and issues, but you cannot move. This is the user story. That's the reason it is not going. Okay. This is a task. Okay. This is a task. What task is allocated to you, and you can move here active similar way that you do here, with traditional. Move the sticky note from here to here, okay, and from here to testing, and move to completed. This is the way. So it's a new status. Once you put a new status, drag it to here, and the graph changes. You see this? Okay, because here it didn't change. You change it here. Let's see here. This is let's go to closed. They made some changes maybe from last time to here. There might be a lot of changes here. Okay, so here you can move your sticky notes from one place to another. So this is this is more of a Kanban process. Okay, this is like your Kanban. Here you do your work by yourself. Nobody actually. You might have been doing team meeting just once in a week, or um, you may have this daily scrum too, but not too much, and you may not have that kind of lot of people meeting together. All these things you can do it right here, and whatever user stories you have, you're working on your own, so you don't require a lot of you don't need anyone's help. So this is good. This is a Kanban, and it's similar to the traditional way of doing here. The boards, you cannot afford a board. You need to buy a board, and you need to you need a lot of work here. Take paper and put the sticky notes here. It's a lot of work, right? And Scrum Master cannot afford that because it really decreases the efficiency of doing the work. So that's the reason we no more rely on traditional work. We have this. When we have this, we can work on this one, and everything actually automatically changes by itself. The graph changes once you move here. Okay, everything changes by itself. So this is more the efficient way of doing the work. Okay, so this is called Kanban process. So this, especially TFS, is very good at Kanban. Not that you cannot do Scrum, you can do Scrum too here, but this is very good for the Kanban. And Rally is very good for Scrum. Again, you can do Kanban and Rally too. It's not a big deal. This movement of user stories, that's it. And you can do that too in anywhere. But the point is, although there are different tools for a different methodologies and different procedures, you can still use the same tool, and you can work on that. Okay, so that's the use of these tools. Okay, and TFS of course is also the test management tool. Okay, similar to Rally. Rally is a different company. TFS is from Microsoft. Rally is from CA Technologies. Okay, so that's about Scrum and Kanban. So we'll go more into this detail. Okay, we'll talk about this in the last class, TFS, and we'll see, if anyone is interested in access for this, we can work on that too. Okay. Any more questions in Agile? In the Scrum, actually, this is more of a Scrum process. So you know now Scrum. You also know the Kanban. Kanban is similar to Scrum, but you don't have these many meetings. But we have small. It's more for a small team. Small team in sense 3 to 4 people. That's it in one team. And Scrum is a little bit large. Let's say you have large chunk of work, and you want to divide that team. So team 1, team 2, team 3, team 4, team 5, and then each team 6 people. 5 to 6 people, and a lot of project manager, Scrum Master, a lot of work. So that's what you need this Scrum. Otherwise, Kanban is also good for small teams, and Scrum is good for large teams when you want to divide large chunk of work into small pieces. Okay, so that's how you use this. So tomorrow, tomorrow we'll talk about Jira. So Jira is another test management tool. Okay, and we also, we get this access for you, the Jira, and also we'll be having homework for this. So because we will talking about this confluence, and so we didn't talk about this, right? We'll talk about this confluence because Confluence is integrated with Jira itself. Okay, integrated in it, and we can talk this about tomorrow. Any questions? So I hope everyone has this access to this, right? Rally, make use of it, understand the way it works. Okay, what you need to understand is not the tool. Okay, not the tool. Okay, where is this location? I'm not able to find out. It's not that thing. What you need to understand is the process. Okay, the process where the user stories. Okay, where the test cases, because whatever tool you will be using it, no matter it be Rally, no matter it is Jira, no matter it is Zephyr, no matter it is HPLM, ClearCase, whatever tool it is. Okay, what you need to understand is the process. The question is where you are actually writing the test cases, how are you executing it, how are you showing the reports, and how are you, assigning defects to the developer. That's more important than any other thing. Okay, so don't. So my point is, don't get addicted to the tool. No, I know only Rally. I don't know Jira. No, I know only Jira. So if you are, you cannot make narrow for yourself. They need to be really broad on understanding what the tool. If somebody asks some random tool, if it's a test management tool, you can say, yeah, I'm comfortable with that. Why? Because I've used Rally, and Rally is pretty easy and pretty simple. So I think I can use any other tool because the process remains same, right? Process doesn't change. Only the UI interface changes. So sometimes button might be here, sometimes button might be there. Okay, but doesn't matter. I'm achieving the same kind of work. What I'm trying to do. So should be good. So that's how you need to be a little bit open-minded when using tools, different tools. Okay. Um, okay. If no questions, can we close this class for today? Okay. Thank you, guys.